took on, yeah. One for the belly, another for the broken heart. 3 for addiction, 4 so I don't go back.
Looking for somebody with me, wash my shoulders, so I can never be sober.
Hi, good day everyone. I go by the name Bones Juliet, and today I'm here with my team to discuss the topic: if critical thinking is essential to human development, why do people, even the educated, struggle to think critically? Imagine a world where people have unlimited access to information and education, yet misinformation continues to spread and poor decisions are yet still made. This raises an important question: if critical thinking is essential to human development, why do people, even the educated, struggle to think critically? Critical thinking is a disciplined process of analyzing and evaluating information with clarity, accuracy, and fairness. According to Richard Paul and Linda Alder, it is the act of thinking about thinking while you are thinking in order to think better. It helps us solve problems, make informed decisions, and contribute meaningfully to personal, social, and national development. Yet, despite its importance, many people find critical thinking difficult to practice consistently. Even educated individuals can fall victim to misinformation, assumption, and poor judgment. This is because critical thinking is often hindered by cognitive bias, emotions, social pressure, cultural influences, and educational system that emphasizes memorization over inquiry and curiosity. This presentation, I will explore why critical thinking, although essential for development, remains challenging for many people and remains examining barriers that prevent individuals from thinking critically in our daily life.
Critical thinking is defined by Robert Ennis as a reasonable reflective thinking focused on deciding on what to do or what to believe. It is a practical skill for daily decisions, not just academics. Martin Lippmann says it creates reasonableness. It is the ability to judge well in complex and unclear situations. Without it, people can't spot manipulation, weigh competing claims, or take part meaningfully in democracy. So teaching critical thinking isn't just an educational goal, it is ethical and political because it supports individuals' autonomy and self-governance. Despite that, most educational systems still fail to develop it consistently.
The case for critical thinking. Scholars and policymakers has longer insisted that critical thinking is essential to individual and societal development. They will argue as early as 1910 without proper training in thought. Human beings remain at mercy of their instincts and appetite, responding to the world reflexively rather than reflexively. A recycled frame that stakes even more urgently. Critical thinking prepares individuals for self-direction and self-sufficiency, plays a central role in rational traditions such as science and history, and is fundamentally necessary for democracy to function properly.
Cognitive and psychological barriers. Point 1. Critical thinking is hard. Daniel Kahneman says our brain saves energy by using fast thinking instead of slow, careful thinking. Point 2. Confirmation bias. Looking only for info that agrees with you makes us ignore proof we are wrong. Point 3. Dunning-Kruger effect. People who know little feel very confident. Makes it worse. Beginners feel like experts. Cognitive heuristics. Mental shortcuts. Brain's quick trick to decide fast. Kahneman and Tversky say they cause mistakes. Judges say they can also help sometimes. So are our mental shortcuts helping us or tripping us up?
Daniel Kahneman described that. Point 1. Affect heuristic. We let emotion decide if something feels good or bad. We accept or reject without checking logic or evidence. Motivated reason. We trace facts to protect our beliefs or identity. A challenge to our idea feels like a personal attack, so we defend, not to reason. Epistemological stance. Point 1. Multiples. All options are equal. It is just a subject. Evaluative. Not all viewers are equal. I can judge evidence and reason. Why knowing I while knowing I might still be wrong. Bottom line, real critical thinking, moving past feelings, ego, and everyone's right to actually weighing evidence. That mindset shifts.
Continue with, I'll be presenting on educational and social barriers. If critical thinking is psychologically difficult, educational and social structures often make it still harder. Traditional education systems, particularly those that emphasize words, learning, and standardized testing, reward memorization and compliance rather than questioning and independent inquiry. Students learn to absorb information and reproduce it on examinations, but they rarely learn to evaluate competing claims or challenge established.
Today, I'll be talking about why education does not guarantee critical thinking. Education doesn't automatically produce critical thinkers, and here's why. Being educated and thinking critically are two very different things. Traditional schooling often rewards compliance and memorization over genuine questioning, which actually trains the opposite of critical thinking. Researchers like Paul and Elder identify key traits of true critical thinkers. Things like intellectual humility, courage, and open-mindedness. Most people never fully develop these because school systems tend to reward conformity instead. Psychologist Carol Dweck adds another layer. Her research shows that people either have a growth mindset, believing you can develop your thinking through effort. Here is the irony. Highly educated people are often the worst offenders because they've been told they are smart their entire lives. Intellectual challenges feel like a threat to their identity. So instead of embracing new evidence that challenges their views, they resist it. Critical thinking requires admitting your current thinking might be wrong, and that is the one thing a lifetime of academic praise makes hardest to do.
Credentialism, the tendency to equate educational credentials with intellectual ability to create its own problems. Academic credentials do not guarantee critical thinking. It often indicates only the ability to navigate institutional systems successfully. Anthony Rodd noted that though critical thinking is a necessary condition of philosophical thinking, it is not sufficient condition. One can learn the machine of critical thinking without developing the disposition to actually use it.
Pathway for it refers to the different methods or strategies that can be used to improve and develop genuine critical thinking. The passage explains 5 ways to promote genuine critical thinking. 1. Teaching critical thinking directly. Students should learn to understand their own thinking process, recognize bias, and develop strategies to avoid cognitive errors. 2. Encouraging inquiries and dialogues. Classrooms should focus on questioning, discussion, and evaluating different possible answers, rather than simply memorizing the correct answers. 3. Develop intellectual virtue. Educators should promote humility, open-mindedness, and the willingness to question personal beliefs while creating a safe environment for thoughtful risk-taking. 4. Redefine purpose of education. Education should go beyond awarding certificates and instead foster careful through the reflective inquiry. 5. Support critical thinking in society. Media literacy, fact-checking, intellectual honesty, and open public discussion should be encouraged so people can change their views based on evidence without fear of criticism.
In conclusion, critical thinking is essential for development, but many people struggle to think critically because of cognitive biases, emotions, social influence, and weaknesses in educational systems. Being educated does not automatically make someone a critical thinker. True critical thinking requires open-mindedness, intellectual humility, and the willingness to question assumptions. This experience has deepened each member's understanding of critical thinking, while also demonstrating the value of collaborative academic work. Societies, therefore, must focus not only on educating people, but also on teaching them on how to think critically. My name is Christabel Edichuma Kudia. Thank you.